noticed a drastic change between the last video and this video. And honestly, I was actually sitting in the office and thinking, I can't use the studio. I can't use the equipment. I can't use it. I've got to do it on my own. And the truth of the matter is, look, I run another podcast for a ministry that I help run called Self-Evident Ministry. And we have developed this system over years in order to get the right cameras, the right lighting, the right mics, the right setup, all of that. And this whole studio behind me, I built. And obviously, I had help. I'm not trying to say, I built it all by myself. But I conceived it, I put it into action, built it. I had a couple friends help me, especially the founder of Self-Evident, Massey. And it's here. And when I started The Forged, one of my thoughts was, okay, I've got to do this all on my own. I can't use any of the stuff that Self-Evident has. That's probably the lesson right here for you is, and maybe I'm speaking to only one person, but I've always had this trouble of I don't want help. I don't want any handouts. I want to be able to do it myself. But the equipment's here. The opportunity's here. And what I've realized for myself is I have to just take advantage of the tools that I have, especially if people are offering them to me. Self-Evident has been completely open in wanting to see Forged flourish. And so I did a couple of videos, and you may have noticed there was a gap between the posting of those first couple of videos and this one. It's because I didn't like the aesthetic. I didn't like the equipment. I didn't like what I was doing. And in my head, it was like, oh, I've got to do it all on my own. I'm done with that. So what I'm producing, yes, I'm using in conjunction with something else that another organization has put forward. So what? We all build on the shoulders of others. And if we think we're doing it only by ourselves and totally isolated, nobody ever helped us, we're either full of crap or we're super prideful. And this new company, The Forged, it's a community, really. That's really what it is I am designing this to be a community for you. I'm going to use every tool at my hands. And you're going to see that some things may be similar to what I'm doing over with Self-Evident. That's okay. And I'm giving myself permission on that because otherwise I'm going to sit back and I'm going to hinder myself because I don't have exactly what I need in order to get the job done. And I want that to be a quick lesson to you. Do you have the tools in order to get the job done? And does somebody else have the tools for you to get the job done? What matters is, are we willing to actually invest in what will grow us? There's this concept of, are you willing to invest in yourself? And oftentimes what happens is, oh, I don't have the money for that program. I don't have the money for that curriculum. I don't have the time for that. But we've got time and money for Netflix. We've got time and money for Starbucks. We've got time and money to sit and watch another movie. So in reality, it's not the question of whether or not we actually have the time and money to invest in ourselves. Do we have the priority to invest in ourselves? When you take some time and really sit down, and I ask you to do this, if you and I were sitting at a cafe for breakfast, I'm unfortunately dairy-free, gluten-free. It's a whole thing. I've got a condition. That's what I have to do. I'd order eggs and bacon, coffee. You order whatever you want. And we're sitting there, and you're looking at me, and you're going, I don't know how to get out of this, or I don't know what I need to do. I would sit across from you, and this is how I would say it. What do you have? First off, what's your goal? What's your purpose? What do you have as a goal or a purpose? And I ask you that What do you have as a goal or a purpose? And you're going to spend a little time and you're going to think about it. Maybe something's coming to your heart right now. I want you to think about that thing. If you really have no clue, then you need to pause this and you need to go think about it. When you come back, or if you've got it in your heart, okay, now you have your purpose, your cause, your why. Why are you here? Why do you drive? Why are you doing what you do? The next question is, what tools are at your disposal to be able to do it? And how many of those tools are you pushing off and saying, no, I can't do that because of excuse A, excuse B, fear A, fear B? Oftentimes, here's what happens. We've got a fear, and that keeps us from going forward. Maybe you're afraid of what other people are going to think. Maybe you're trying so hard to shape your image that you'll never actually commit. I was watching a video the other day. In the next episode, if you want to call it, I'm going to talk about discouragement. And I'll talk about this video, but I was watching a video and the guy was talking about, look, if you set your goals for numbers and money or whatever, you'll always be disappointed because there's ups and downs and things go well and things don't. But if your goal is your own consistency, your goal is your own discipline, your goal is to set out and do day in, day out what you've set out to do, then you're achieving your goal. And then you're not going to be disappointed when the numbers go up and down. You just know you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And oftentimes our fear is driven on, we think people expect a certain thing from us and we're not doing that. And so therefore we're failing. We also think we've got to be perfect in how we approach it otherwise. Because what people will tell you is do this, don't do that. And I'll get into this in another episode. I am awash in online marketing strategy, online do's and don'ts for YouTube videos, and all of that. It's a whole industry of people who tell you do this, don't do that, do this, don't do that. That's out. This is in. This is good. That's bad. That's popular. This is a trend. And I'm not even saying that all of that is bad, because obviously there are business techniques that help you get forward. But at the end of the day, if you take all of that in and you go, well, I'm not going to even make a step because if I make this step, one guy says it's good, one guy says it's bad, so I don't know if it's good or bad. The trick is to actually just make the step and challenge yourself. Take a risk. If there's a fear, then that probably means you're supposed to go at it. And you will feel so much more confidence. You'll feel encouragement. You'll feel strength if you go at that fear. And that's my challenge to you today. Can you just go at that fear that's holding you back? I know for me, I've never enjoyed sales. And the thing is, I have been in sales positions so many times. I worked in the oil field, and at first I was working on equipment, breaking it down, putting it back together, going out doing repairs on well sites and all of that. And then I ended up in a sales position for that equipment. And I didn't want to bug people. I didn't want to seem annoying. I wanted to present myself as really kind of that perfect guy. I was good at maintaining relationships, but I was no good at building new ones. I had no clue how to build new relationships. And God bless my manager and the company for holding on to me and not setting quotas that I would have never been able to fulfill because I was afraid of what somebody who's annoyed with me might think. And then I started working for a retail establishment, managing. And the owner and I would have struggles with the franchise themselves of upselling or pricing. And our argument was, we don't feel comfortable setting this price for something that we don't think is worth that much. And franchise was telling us, but it's the value you set, and if people don't want to pay it, who cares? Then they won't pay it. And I've come to realize that's true. You set the value for your product, and if people don't want to pay it, too bad. And if nobody will pay it, then you know you've overvalued your product and you bring the price down a little bit. And now that I'm in the position where my own business relies on sales, it relies on connecting with clients to build a community, to bring people in who might value what I'm providing, there's something to it. There's something to where I need to step out and take a risk. And I'm asking you, is your fear holding you back from getting dirty and messy and failing and stumbling and having embarrassments and having to go back? Is your fear of all of that possible outcome, keeping you from handling the discipline and the consistency to move forward? You really have to do yourself a service of asking, is that what I'm doing to myself? Because if you do that to yourself, you're going to sabotage yourself. You need to learn how to not tell yourself no in taking a risk. I hope you guys can join me in this community that I'm trying to build. And the unique part about what I want to do with The Forge is build a real community for guys, for men's development, for us to get together and actually, how do you create that bond between guys? There are plenty, and God bless them. I mean that. God bless them. Plenty of men's development coaches, leaders, and guys that I look at and I'm like, man, I can't even compare. But where my heart is to build that community where you've got those guys around you, whether online or in person, that you can be real with, that they can encourage you, they can motivate you, and all of you are trying to become better men of God, better husbands, better fathers, better workers, better business owners, better athletes, whatever you are, that you can become better at it. And I'm asking you guys to take this journey with me and to grow with me. I'm not the expert. God knows I'm not the expert. I've learned a couple of things over my lifetime, and I want to share those things. But overall, I'm trying to build a group of guys that will come along with me and, hey, let's learn together. As I learn, you come with me. So if that's your cup of tea, if that's your beer, if that's your coffee, I won't judge. Your nice bourbon, go ahead and subscribe. Let's join together on this journey, and let's see where it goes. Let's see what we can do with The Forge. You become part of The Forge. Become a Forged member. And what does that mean? That means you've subscribed. That means you're buying into the things that we're trying to do. That means your heart is with us. That means maybe a product works for you. That means maybe you're sharing a word. But most of all, it means you're training to disciple the next generation. And that's our goal in the end of the day, man. So I love all of you. That's right. I'm a guy. I said I love you. Man, I tell my friends I love them. Get off the phone. Bro, I love you. Talk to you later. Why? Because it means something. I mean it when I say it. So I love you guys. I hope you all have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.